Y'all, I ain't joking. This is crazy. And it's relentless. Everybody, I think we're going to try to do some cleaning on the inside of the car today. So welcome back to the channel. I do appreciate you joining me. Thanks for making these videos so much fun. Commenting, liking, subscribing. It's a big deal. I enjoy it, and it's helping to motivate me to keep going here. Like I said, we're going to try to do some cleaning on the inside. But before we do, I want to bring this up too. I want to say thanks to Mark, Connie, and Mike for going to the Amazon link, which I'll have down in the comments. I'll pin a comment with the Amazon link, and buying a few things and sending them my way. It makes it a lot easier when I don't have to spend a boatload of money on the stuff. If you can pitch in and help, hey, that's awesome. So I do appreciate you guys doing that and helping me out. So that Amazon link, like I said, will be down in the I'll put it in the comments section. So if you click the comments, you know, you'll be able to see it there. If you want to pitch in, or just take a look at what we have on the list, and if you can think of something that needs to be added to it, you know, send that to me too. Put it down in the comments. That'd be great. So anyway, if you watched the last episode, we did a pretty good clean job on the outside of the car. Yeah, I think we're gonna try to do a little cleaning on the interior of the car. Still pretty stove up, guys. I just be straight with you. Physical therapy's kicking my butt. So when I go in at 7 a.m., I get to physical therapy, and I'm not leaving till 9 o'clock. It's taking its toll. So I'm a little gimpy. So hopefully I'll be able to pick up the pace a little bit, but no guarantees. Just gonna do what I can and try to continue to put videos out, and so the algorithm doesn't kick me in the butt, hopefully. But that's where we're at. So here we go. I don't know if you guys have actually had a really good look on the interior. That's what we're looking at right there, which I should have done this before the surgery. I'd like to get underneath there and see if I can't figure out what fuse is messing up our window deal here. Probably not gonna be able to do that for a while though, because that kind of is not the position I need to be putting my body in right now. Good times, man. I'm really hoping that we can go back to that quadrajet carburetor. I just don't really want to mess with this. Got the trunk open, going through it here a little bit, just kind of glance around. There's some rust there. Looks like we had a mouse in here, living his best life in here. You got a little power steering fluid here, probably come in handy. Well, as luck would have it, my luck anyway, come out here to fire up Bedford, which I haven't fired up in a while, and the battery is dead. Look at the corrosion. Holy smokes. Now I just cleaned all this and put it back together a month ago maybe, and look at the corrosion from just sitting there. So I guess I have maybe a parasitic draw on this battery. I gotta give this truck some love here pretty soon. Anyway, we'll clean some battery posts and tighten this stuff down. I guess we'll put it on the charger. Yeah. And just like that, the package that Mike and Connie sent is already going to pay off. Yeah, we're going to put her to work. Cool. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. We'll put her on a slow charge. So I don't guess I'll be going to get the 2x4s today for the cribs, so that sucks. But it's is what it is. So I've got this thing up with some jack stands. I can't find anywhere that tells you where to really put the jack stands on these cars. I know the wheel cribs are a lot safer. I'm not sure how far I'm going to go with messing with anything with this. They are under it. It does seem a little bit stable, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I still don't like it, so yeah, the wheel cribs are the only way to go. And the cool thing is, the wheel crib, for what I need to do, doesn't have to be, they don't have to be very big. Shove the jack back under it. Just brought the jack up to where it's touching. Just another little piece of, I guess, safety. These cars are so heavy on the front. It's just, you know, and all the cars from that generation are. It makes it very difficult for getting underneath it and doing any work safely. So, well, my main objective with trying to get it off the ground right now is I'd like to try to hook the electronic fuel pump up to the line coming out of the tank and see if I can't pump that tank dry. Now, I'm trying to do everything I can to avoid dropping that tank. So, anyway, that's where we're at right at the moment. So my idea is this. Let's say we unhook the fuel pump here. Just run into the carburetor, go ahead and leave that hose the way it's run, and pump this thing into some jugs and try to clean out that tank. Sounds like a plan. Woo! She got some fuel pressure on her. Why in the world wouldn't it have fuel pressure the other day? Don't panic, it's gonna be okay. It's okay. So, you guys out there, you got a GoPro and you're getting started in filming. One of the first things you want to do is get some of these screen protectors. I just dropped this GoPro from about 3 foot onto concrete, and if it was not for having this screen protector on there, we'd be looking for another GoPro. Man, lucky on that one, guys. So what we're going to try to do is take this old hose here, because I don't really want to run any bad fuel through the new hoses that I've got. So, man, it's just so nasty. I've never seen anything quite like that. That's what's in that tank, guys. Terrible. Hoping that'll burn. Might have to cut this off. I think we're ready. I'm not sure which one's the inlet and which one's the outlet on this thing. So we're just gonna pull one off and see if we can't get it to work. See if I can just take this one off, hook to it, and see if it's the correct one. We got some kids from the neighborhood playing X games on their motorcycles. Holy cow. Backfired. Got him. Oh yeah, she's gonna make a mess. I'm about to go get me a pan or something. I'll be back. All right, I think it's best if I try to take these vice grips and pinch the line off pretty far back away from that inlet, and just in case that thing's full, I can still hook up the filter and all that without making a bigger mess. I think that's my best option. That's what I'm gonna go with. So I'm gonna try to pinch her off right there. Probably gonna tighten her up just a little bit more. Whew, hope them kids are gonna be safe out there, and that dang one of them got a helmet on. Oh yeah, that was the right move, but man, that stuff's nasty. I just don't know that, man, I just don't know. This might be I might be making a terrible mistake by trying this. Not worried about the filter. I don't really want to tear up the fuel pump if I don't have to, which is pretty cheap. It's warmed up quite a bit here in Arkansas, and man, these wasps and stuff have come out. They've been swarming around me all day. All right, so game plan here, I'm gonna take this old oil jug, and I pulled the battery out of the car, the weak battery. I figure it'll still run that pump. Well, it might be a little bit tricky to do this because these wires aren't very long. If I have to, I can adjust that and go get some more wire. Having to keep that pan underneath the fuel pump because it's definitely dripping out, and there's some nasty stuff, so I don't want that to be all over the ground here. I may have to get something to attach that one. That one's big enough. Run this hose down into this oil jug. I guess I'm gonna have to hold it or get a piece of wood against it or something, so it'll actually work. Come off there. You ever had one of those days where everything you touch just goes against you? Well, that's what's happening to me today. With these vice grips to it, just like, come on, like that. Just gonna kind of watch it here a minute, see if we get anything coming out of it. Drag down in this filter. Right now I don't see anything, so oh, maybe this won't work. And that very well could be the return line. I really don't know. We'll let it run here a minute. Let's go take the cap off the fuel tank real quick. See if that does anything. All right. Well, I didn't bore you with just watching me struggle. So I took the line back off of the original one. I took the other line off the fuel pump, and we're running into it now. One of these has to be the one for the fuel inlet for the pump. So we're going to try to hook this up and see what happens. I'm kind of thinking that maybe that the hose itself got collapsed or something. I'm not sure. It feels really funny to the touch, so we're not going to waste a lot of time here on this. We're just going to see if it'll work here in just a second, and then kind of go from there. All right. See if we can get any pumping out of that. And I don't see anything. So I think that fuel tank is, you know, I thought originally that the fuel pump's completely out, which it still could be, but we might be having an issue where it's just completely clogged up on this line, and it's actually pretty likely, which is going to make the job a whole lot tougher. Kind of plugging it off here to see if we can get it to build up, but I don't think it's going to. I bet these lines are completely clogged up, which means what we'll have to do is when we drop the fuel tank, we're going to have to blow some compressed air in it until we get it cleaned out. And that's probably going to be a pretty good chore to make that happen. I would pour some gas down in it and prime it, but man, talk about a mess. Not a good sign, guys. It'll make this a whole lot tougher. Plan Z. All right, fellers, I think what we're gonna do, I'm not gonna film this part. Well, I'm not filming it, might not show up in your video, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this down and we're gonna put this air nozzle in here and try to create a push of air through the, see if we can clear the lines that way. Probably not gonna work. Probably have a better chance at blowing back from the pump backwards to try to clear the line. But this air compressor is pretty dang loud, so I don't know if you'll be able to know what's going on here or not, so I thought I'd explain it first. So we'll start with this and then we'll work our way up. Guess I need to plug it up. See? Told you. I just realized my yard looks like an episode of Sanford and Son. Holy smokes. Used car lot maybe? Dang. Alright fellas, we're gonna give this a shot here and see what happens. Really need to have something to cover that right there. We'll have to have nothing. Yep, that's how I'm gonna have to do it. Let me do that. I'll set you guys up here where you can watch. Let me try it on that hose. Whoa, look there. Yeah. I believe she just stopped completely up, guys. I might have to do some studying on this because I don't know. I mean, it might just be one of those situations where I get the tank out and then I have to unhook the lines and just blow until I know the lines are clear. Nothing can be easy, huh? So I'm gonna go ahead and try to take this line back off, I guess. I thought it would have a siphoning effect, but it doesn't look like it's going to be. I'm kind of hoping it would. That's weird, man. I thought for sure we'd get something out of that. Let me go stick the cap back on back here. Try that. Struggle's real, guys. Alright, so I've got the cap back on the fuel tank because I know I put 3 gallons of gas in this thing. And it did not leak out, so. Well, that scared the dog crap out of me. Woo! Sweet baby Jesus. That sucks, y'all. Let me go clean my underwear and then I'll be back. As you can see or hear, the wind is brutal. I haven't been able to get out here and work on the car hardly at all because of it. It is unbelievable. It's been like that for several days too, guys, so I apologize. Doing the best I can, try to get you guys another video. So hang in there with me. Try to get you guys in here where you can see, but as you can see, the shadows, and between the shadows and the wind, guys, everything's against us today. Finally feeling pretty decent. Still a little sore, but able to get around a little bit more, so I'm trying to take advantage of that because you never know. I might wake up tomorrow and it sucks. So that's the way it's been going for me. She broke loose pretty easy, and that is a, I can't tell. It's an old wrench, and I can't tell what size that is. Huh. I'm gonna say it's a 3/4, guys. The internet says it should have been a 9/16, but you know how the internet is. And because the wind's blowing so bad, I think I might throw a wrench. This needs oiled anyway, so I might do that at least for the first half of this to try to make sure this don't blow away. Well, it might try it anyway, man. This wind is terrible. All right. How's that gonna work? I don't know. And as you can see there, guys, there's no water in this oil. I know I had some people probably wondering about that, but there is none. There's no water in this oil whatsoever. That oil looks pretty good, you know, and I did put some in it, you know, you remember that. There you go, blow everywhere. Blow everywhere. Come on now. Ah. Where the heck's the oil filter? Oh, there it is. I see it back there now. Struggle's real, guys. Come on. There you are. You don't want to be putting too many ugga duggas on here. I mean, you want it tight, but you don't want to be stupid. Hoping that I can get that off without a problem, but I'm gonna tell you guys, I have a feeling this thing might really be hard to get off. I don't think I'm going to be able to use that because it's going to be in the way right here. Holy smokes. Now, whew. Will she break loose or not? I don't know. Oh God. Oh, oh. Lord have mercy. I almost had the old screwdriver trick, and I've had that fail me and backfire on several occasions, so holy cow, that was not how I wanted it to go. Come on. Wow. I thought it broke loose there, but heck, maybe it didn't. Lay on the concrete, they said. It'll be easy, they said. Change the oil, they said. Oh, nothing to it. There you are. Holy cow. We got you now. With all this wind, I have a feeling I'm gonna get a face full of oil. Alright, we'll put us a new Wicks filter on here real quick, fellers. And this, for this 400 on this 1978 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Part number right there for a Wicks filter is what they say, so we're gonna see. I don't know if you can see that or not. Maybe. Focus, I don't know. Anyway, it's a Wicks filter 51258. Got our filter here. I'm gonna just dab a little bit of the old oil, running around here to help the seal up. You know, I've heard all these things, pre-fill, don't pre-fill. I typically do pre-fill. You know what, I'm gonna go ahead and try to pre-fill it. And yeah, give me a minute, I'll be back. Don't do that, kids. Dang it. I'm gonna have to edit this out. Good as it gets, y'all. There she goes. Normally right on this, guys, but this oil change here ain't gonna be in it very long. I'm gonna run it a little bit, but we're going to change this oil and filter again pretty shortly. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that up, and then that's done. ZDDP. I have a zinc supplement. I've looked all over the internet. I've heard put it in, I've heard don't put it in. Man, it's all over the place. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in. Comment below what you think, because I've looked at a couple of different reputable oil channels who said that this might be a bad idea. So I don't know, you guys tell me what you think. Especially want to hear from you guys who've worked on these classic cars like this. That'd be pretty cool. But I am going to use it. I'm going to pour it in. It says on the directions here for a 1996 and older, use the entire bottle. So we're going to pour the entire bottle in there, I guess. The wind has been blowing literally like this for, we had a storm move through that produced some tornadoes here over the weekend. Ever since then, we've had wind that's just knocked you over type wind, like the type of wind you would have out in the Midwest, you know. Anyway, enough complaining about that. I'll find other things to complain about. Check this out. So I got an email this morning from Leland out of Tennessee. And let's see what Leland has sent us, guys. Oh yeah. So Leland saw that I was in need of really wanting to go back with the Quadrajet, and he had some parts laying around and decided he would pitch in and help me out. And that's a great looking base plate. This one is missing the actual throttle plates on it. There's another one in here that we can do a switcheroo on if we have to. And I'll tell you this, if the rods are good, I might be able to just handle the, yeah, there's the wind again. Sorry guys. Hold up. So, we may be able to move these plates over to this rod. And right there looks like it's got maybe one of the screws just broke off in it. So might have to try to address that or the entire piece. But hey, I think we're on to something here, guys. Leland, I appreciate you so much for sending these out, man. Hopefully we can make all this to start to work with this. This would be awesome. I appreciate it very, very much. Welcome back to Field Tilt's World of Carbs, where we have turned into a freaking carburetor channel. On a serious note, I'm going to try to get this thing back into the mix here. I'm thinking if I could get these off without breaking the little screws off, I may be able to still use this. I don't know. I don't know. I'll be back with you guys as soon as I figure out what I'm doing. Okay, this is the bottom, this is the top. And it looks like I am going to have to change this rod out, so I'm going to try to get some good video of how this mechanism is on here. We'll take some pictures as well. But yeah, this is going to have to come off. Definitely not the best job ever. See what happens. I guess we'll see what happens. They say it's what they say to do, so grind them off. I grounded it off all right. Well, it came out. So there's one down, kinda. I'll tell you what I mean by kinda in a minute. I've got one here that broke off. I mean, like, I put a screwdriver on it I was just easing around on them just a little bit so I could spray them down with penetrating oil, and it broke immediately. I don't know. I'll try to get the rest of them. We'll see, I guess. Right? Right. I'm trying to do the best I can and not tear this thing all to pieces. Alright, so I'm underneath the passenger side front tire, coming in from the back here. You know, I filled up the brake reservoir, and still this thing just doesn't have any brakes. That's all there's to it. I think that we might be in a situation where the actual rubber hoses have failed us. I think that's probably what we're dealing with. I'm gonna go ahead and looby-doob the rest of them. It's just too hard for me to film right now, guys. It's crawling all over the ground. It's not quite there yet, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Well, everybody, I guess it's time to start getting busy on the car again and actually trying to get some more stuff accomplished. Finally got a few parts in, and I'm gonna really try to attack this brake system. I know, still got the still have the fuel system to get figured out too, but I do have the parts to do it, so it should be, hopefully, should not be that big a deal. I've been putting it off mainly because I'm going to have trouble getting under the dash and unpinning it. And getting to some of it back here might be a little bit of an issue. This car seems to have a few things running here that I don't remember seeing on some of the others that I've looked at online. There's phone going off. Anyway, for the most part, I'm gonna say all the lines look pretty good. I want to replace the rubber lines coming from the metal lines right to the calipers and to the back cylinders. I think that's going to be pretty important to getting this thing running right and feeling safe when we're doing it. So piece by piece, a little bit at a time. I want to thank Mark once again because he sent us a new brake booster. This one might be fine, but the reason I'm going to go ahead and change it is because when this thing goes back to everybody else, I want it to be okay, you know, and I want to feel good about it. So there's lines here. It's a 9/16 on both of these. Now I've been spraying since November when I got this car here, November of 24. Since I've got this car here, I've been just going over this almost every day that I work on it, spraying these things, because I knew that this day was going to come, trying to prevent any major problems. I hope that there's not going to be. But here's what I think I'm going to do. I am going to crack these lines because we have no brakes anyway, so there's going to be that's a whole different video. But I'm going to crack these lines and make sure they're going to come loose before I start taking anything off. That way I have a little bit of leverage here on this. And this is what I'm talking about here. I want to be careful not to bend this line. I'm hoping that it's not going to. Just kind of working it back and forth here. And I am using a line wrench. I see people not using them. I've never had luck not using them. If I don't use a line wrench on stuff like this, you can about guarantee it's gonna be a disaster. So you see how that line tries to move with it, you know, just working it back and forth. You can apply heat to this type of stuff if you have to, but if you do, you know, you have to be careful. You don't want to boil everything out, especially if you're reusing some of this stuff. So keep that all in mind. Luckily, it doesn't look like we're going to have that problem here. Now, we might actually have that problem on the hookups at the calipers and the wheel cylinders. We may end up having to use some heat on that. But as of right now, that was what I wanted to do. Wanted to make sure that those were going to come loose. I'm wearing gloves. Brake fluid, pretty corrosive. Pretty nasty stuff. Like I said, I've been spraying these things since November, hoping that it wouldn't be that big a deal. This stuff's tight. And that's okay. I'm glad it's tight and all that. But I've been doing like the pre-work stuff to keep this from being a complete disaster. That one broke loose pretty easy. You know, I have no idea if this proportioning valve or any of that stuff's any good either. So, I mean, I'm guessing on that maybe it is. Alright. Those broke loose. You know, that's the cool thing about thinking ahead and trying to pre-plan for some of this stuff. It pays off. Because like I said, we are, you know, this is a 78 model car, and it's very likely that none of this stuff's ever been off of it. Anyone who's ever messed with this type of stuff can tell you, and when you start messing with brake lines and things, it becomes a rusty, crusty mess if you're not real careful, and a lot of times you can't avoid it. Like I said, I'm just working these back and forth a little bit as I go. And this is probably going to spill some brake fluid on. I'll probably go in here in just a second. And now that I know all this is going to break loose, I'll probably go ahead and just go ahead and drain this. Let me do that, and I'll be back in just a minute. So I went to the Dollar Tree, not sponsored. Probably should be, but not sponsored. And I picked up a turkey baster. I have several of these laying around that I use for things like this, and they usually work pretty perfect for draining things and all that. Now make sure you use things wisely here, and that you get rid of the brake fluid in a environmentally safe way. I am going to do so. So I'm gonna pop the top here. Oh yeah. Already spilled some. Yay. There's a lot of junk floating around inside of that brake fluid as well. So I'm gonna keep doing this until I've got it pretty well emptied out. I've kind of pulled the master cylinder out of the way here. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it or not. Right down in there, you see the liquid? This is why I'm changing this stuff, guys. That right there is brake fluid. So that's why I'm doing all this. I just don't feel comfortable using these parts when I know I already have a problem like that, and you know, like I said, we have no brakes. So just wanted to kind of give you an idea. Get you maybe a look-see in there. Maybe you can see it. You'll see it better when I get the master cylinder out of the way. You're gonna leak out some brake fluid. There's nothing you're gonna be able to do about it. It's just the nature of the beast. But you try to get it cleaned up and wiped off and do the best you can. Have to let it get on a bunch of paint and stuff. Just like that. And it's removed. I'm going to show you here. You see how the liquid's coming out of the back here. Now you could probably order a rebuild kit for one of these, but you know, it's just as cheap to buy a new one. We'll set that out of the way for a little bit, and we'll do something with that in here after a while. So there'll be 4 nuts that'll have to come off this thing, and they might be hard to get to, and I don't even know if I can film it. We'll have to do that. We have to also unhook it underneath the floorboard, which is probably the thing I'm dreading the most. So I don't think I'm going to even be able to show you these nuts and how this thing goes on. I might be able to show it to you once I have it off. So I'm just going to try to ease through here and get this out of the way, and then I'll show you what I can. Well, it's been a few hours, and I've been contemplating on what to do. I've looked online to try to find as much help as humanly possible, and even here on YouTube, and I cannot find anyone who is removing the brake booster from a 78 Firebird and are doing it with the style that is on here. The only ones I've seen of any of this, a Camaro, Firebird, or anything, the removal of this type, they always had the fenders off when they were doing it. None of them explained really, do they have the fenders off to do it, or what? But I think that's what we're gonna have to do. I think if I could get the inner fender off, I might have enough access to get in here to get it. This thing's been a booger, man. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. Now this one does have 4 bolts on the back, right on the back of this, rather than just against the, I guess, the firewall. There's 4 bolts coming out of this with nuts on them. If I can get those off and then remove this, I'll have access to get that. But the problem is the new one doesn't have those bolts there. It's kind of a riveted type setup, so it's still not going to help me get it put back on. That's the question, or the issue. And my little tripod that I've been using is junk, so it's broke now. Staying with the idea of making sure we're trying to stay 2 or 3 steps ahead, and we'll go ahead and soak all these down again on the proportion valve, just in case we have to end up doing something stupid with it. May end up taking the entire fender off. I don't want to do that, but you know, let's be honest here, the body line is off anyway, so I'm kind of at that moment where it's like, you know what, let's take the fender off. We'll have plenty of access. It's going to need to be adjusted anyway, but I'm really not there just yet. So I think I'm going to try with the inner fender tomorrow. I'm tired, I'm wore out today, but try with the inner fender tomorrow and I think I'll have enough access to get that brake booster off. And I've got the wood for the cribbing, it needs to be done, but I need to get the backup. I want to get that fuel tank off and start getting it to soak. We're getting close, guys. I know it's been dragging out, but these things take time, and you know, like that package on the back of the car there, and I'm waiting on parts. You know, it's just what it is. I do feel like that we're getting some serious progress here, though, and the brakes are just as important as the fuel system, because if you can't stop, you can't go. Finish up on the brake booster and hope that the proportioning valve's okay, and then we're going to go around. We'll bleed the brakes, replace the wheel cylinders on the back, and that might be a chore in itself, because everybody knows when you take the start dealing with drum brakes, sometimes the drum will be stuck on there. That'll be fun. Tomorrow. Okay, back here on the 78, I have taken off bolts in a bunch of different places, because we're just gonna have to get this fender off, guys, in order to get this brake booster off. I have beat myself senseless trying to negotiate all this and trying to get it off, and it's just not happening. I did not want to take this fender off for a million reasons. Give you one reason: lining it back up may be a booger. It may be it may be next to impossible. Got to do it though. I don't see any other way. I've researched online. Oh, let's let the diesel go by. I've researched online every which way I can figure out to try to attack this job here. It's just not going to happen. So the fender has to come off, and there are several bolts. And here's the big thing: when you're trying to line this thing back up, you got to remember where all these little washers slash shims are located. And you can see them right here, some underneath here. They could come in 3s and 4s, or just one or none, and trying to remember where they all go. It's important. But there's bolts here. There's a bolt down here. 2 bolts here. I think 3 bolts that line up inside of the fender that attach it to the front cap here, the front nose. A bolt here and a bolt here. I know it's dark in there, and that's on the battery tray. There'll be 2 more at the bottom. There's one right behind this door here. You have to open the door, get into here. You'll see where it's pushing the fender this way. When you loosen that one off, this fender goes a little crazy. There's 3 at the bottom underneath. 1, 2, 3. Then there are 2 more. See the holes right there? Those have to come out as well. Now, I think I have just a handful of bolts left to get out in the front here. I'm going to try to get them out and ease this fender off, hopefully without dumping a bunch of shims everywhere. That's going to be the goal. Cross your fingers for me, guys.
Protect them eyeballs. Safety first. Protect them hands.
These underneath here, I had to pour some motor oil on, because of course my spray lubricant, half the bottle's still in there, but it won't spray anymore. So anyway, I took a cap full and poured it down on top of these bolts, because they were pretty rusty and you don't want to break anything off. I can't imagine trying to replace all this stuff, but it did the wonders. It did a good job. She's fighting me, guys. I'm hoping this is the last bolt, because I don't know where any of the rest of them would be. Maybe right there. Is that possible, those two? Surely not. Maybe? I don't know. Oh, well, we have one that's broke, guys. Finally broke a bolt. Dang it. Come on, baby. What are you hunting? Come on, baby. Hold on. There we go. Come off there. Whew. Now, after it's too dark to be filming right now, guys. I ain't gonna lie, it kicked my butt. That fender kicked my butt. Every screw, every nut, every fastener on that thing was a nightmare. But we got it off. Hopefully now tomorrow we'll get back out here and start getting some more progress on this car. Yeah, it got me. I hate giving defeat, but it kicked my butt pretty good. But here we have it. I have this setting where it is safe. It's not going to dent anything or tear anything up, so everybody just remember that when you're watching this. Nothing's going to get dented up or messed up the way I've got it set. This is going to make it a lot easier. Alright guys, see you in the morning. Alright guys, back out here at the car, and as you can see, we do have the fender off. It was not a dream. More like a nightmare. And I think I'm going to be able to actually get to all this now and be able to get this stuff off. I'm so excited, you have no idea. I do think I'm going to run to the parts store and get me some more Looby Dooby spray. So I'm going to run and grab that, and then we'll come back and we're going to get this brake booster off and get some progress on this car. So I went down to the Dollar Generals. Actually went to the Dollar Tree first to see if they had any Looby Dooby. And anyway, ended up with this Drive MXD. Can't be any worse than the most expensive stuff I've been buying. I'm gonna give that a shot, see how much of the can actually holds up. Little squirt don't hurt. Got some power behind it. All right, we'll let that soak a few minutes, then we'll have at it. Well, we got 4 nuts, boys. We got 4 nuts. I think I've got it done hooked out here finally. Could have never done it without this fender off. It would have been impossible. And if somebody does know how to do it with the fender on, I say send me the video link. I want to see this. I'll put it down in the comments. I want to see it. Because that thing whooped me hard. Alright, now the other part I've been dreading. I got to get underneath the dash here and see if I can get it unpinned so we can slide it out. This ought to be interesting. Alright. So we got the little clip off the side here, guys. of the rod, and you can see the rod there. I hope it's pretty dark under here. Doing the best I can. We got that clip off the side of the rod. We're going to pry the rod off with a flathead, and it should be free to pull the brake booster out after that. So hold tight. So in theory, this brake booster should just come right off here. We'll see. Nothing about this has just worked like it's supposed to, so I wouldn't doubt if we don't have some kind of big amazing thing that has to happen here. Hopefully not, but I wouldn't be shocked. What I tell you, it's gonna fight me all the way. I don't know for sure what's holding it. Why? There it goes. Ah. Finally. Oh no, thank you, thank you. Please, please, too much. Way too kind. Thank you. So we start with the new one. And then you sprinkle in a little bit of the old one. Basically what we're looking for here, they're not going to be exact matches, guys, but they should be very, very close. Very few subtle things that should be different. One of the big things you have to look at and determine, you want to make sure that the mounting holes look the same, the pitch is the same. All of that looks actually good in this. But then the rod length, that's going to be your next thing. Alright, it actually looks like it's pretty close to being exactly right now, but just gonna, yeah, it's pretty close. Probably fine, but I'm gonna see if I can't measure that and just to be sure before I go putting that thing in and then run into a problem. Alright, so everything seems to check out pretty good, guys. I'm gonna slip this in and just kind of see where it falls and how the rod looks when it comes up to the brake pedal. It's pretty much the exact same as taking it off, actually. So I'm not going to just tighten this down yet. I'm going to climb back underneath and I'm going to go ahead and try to hook the rod back up to the brake pedal. That way I know everything's where it needs to be. Then I'll come back out, make sure it's flush against the wall, and then we should be pretty close to ready to go. Guys, I think that went together perfect. Much easier putting that pin on now rather than having this hardwired in place and then trying to move it around. You want to check for that because once I had this in, when I went underneath, the rod was on the opposite side of where it needed to be on the brake pedal. So if I'd have tightened this down, I couldn't have swung it around and got it on the right side, on the correct side, if that makes sense. So I'd advise putting that on first in there just like I did, then come out here and we'll fasten it down. I'm going to run this down as far as I can with my finger, and obviously starting with the side closest to the engine because it is the hardest side to get to. So we're going to try to make life a little easier, or as easy as we can anyway. I probably should have took this off while we were over at the table. Oh, don't fall out. Whew. Because you want to make sure that all this looks like it's going to match up as well. Should have done that. I have no doubts it's going to be okay, but there's a pin in here on some of these. I don't really know if it's adjustable on this one or not, but it looks That looks exactly the same, so I think we're going to be all right on that. All right, so here's the new master cylinder. It's a Dorman brake part. Supposed to replace the one that was on it. It's M76162 Dorman, and of course it's made in China. That's one thing I hate fooling with. Freaking brake fluid.
Nah, gear oil worse.
Ah, yeah, gear oil pretty rough. So the bench bleed was, I'm going to say, pretty successful. I was still getting a few little bubbles out of the back end, but guys, I worked on it and worked on it, did the best I could. I made sure these were tight. I kind of thought about putting some Teflon on them, but I'm kind of edgy about stuff like that because I don't want to get any Teflon up in it, so I decided against it. Anyway, all right, so we'll get this installed real quick, I guess, huh? Somebody asked me the other day, what does it take to be a good mechanic? I told him I don't know. Hopefully this thing doesn't fight me all the way. But guys, I would not be surprised if it does. Well, I got to shove back up on there a little bit, kind of, sort of. It's still fighting me a little bit, guys, but ain't much I can do about it. I'll have to get in here and fight this the rest of the way, I guess. But as you can see, it is all going back together pretty good. I'm just gonna go back and forth from each side too, guys, just to make sure I don't have anything in a bind. Get this tire out and we'll see about a fuel tank. Alright, we already looked through the beginning of the video, looked through this and determined we do have a couple of rust spots. But you know, it's not anything really major. My concern is that when I try to start popping these bolts out for this fuel tank, that there might be, you know, some rust issues that cause us to have a problem there. I'm just gonna just keep good thoughts and hope that that's not what happens. Too dark, ain't it? Yep. So as you can see, we're underneath the car and we are at the straps holding up this fuel tank. A little rusty, a little crusty under here. I noticed a little bit of rust here that's a little darker than normal on the fuel tank. I'm hoping that that's not a leak, but it very well could be. Don't know. When we get it out, we'll know, I guess. So, if we get it out. I don't know what size these are, but those are awfully small bolts on those straps. So, we have 2 of them back here. And I'm going to have to figure out how they got these fuel lines run. I see some of them's vent lines and, you know, just a whole bunch of great stuff. So, let me see if I can find the right size for those. And I guess we'll try to take those off first. I only see 2 of them. But I guess we need to try to get these off before. That way we can slide the jack in the middle maybe and do it that way. Yeah. I'm going to try to get it off here with this little impact. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I don't have anything in 1/2-inch drive that's a 10mm. Yeah, coming out. So that's good. I'm not going to take it all the way out just yet because I'm not a fool. Well, not today anyway. These straps have hangers that hang over the top. That's why I went ahead and took these all the way off. But I don't recommend it, guys. Not at all. We'll try our Looby Dooby again. Dollar General special. Protect them eyes, guys. Wear them safety glasses. Wear gloves. I'm gonna put my gloves on before I start wrenching on all this. Let all that soak for just a little bit. I think we have to remove this little ground wire right here as well. And then I think that will release the straps down. We'll have the jack in the middle here when I do this. I think I got a good plan here. I'm gonna let that soak for just a little bit and then I'll be back. Dang, jack turns about like a orange timber jack skidder. I have the jack just where it's touching. Really don't need more than that. If it gets wobbly or anything like that, I will put a board under it. Not gonna worry about that just yet though. Alright, so I want to be careful here, even though I do have the jack underneath this. This could be pretty heavy because I can't be for sure exactly how much fuel's in it. I know for certain that I put 3 gallons in it, so, you know, let your conscience be your guide type deal. What I'm really worried about right now is you see how crusty this is. I'm hoping that this comes out without tearing anything up. Normally I would just use a hand wrench on it, guys, but I'm scared it's going to slip and I don't want to cut myself on this rusty stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and use the impact and try to break it free. See what happens. It's a 9/16 size socket. We'll see what happens. Well, a little bit of rust. Well, little rust, I'd say, huh? Holy cow. See what I mean about that eye protection? Woo! Now we're back on this side here. It's pretty rusty too, guys, so it's probably going to be about the same. Yeah, this ought to be fun. What we'll probably do is I'll probably just cut that little ground strap there and put a new end on it. Don't touch that bolt. That bolt's hot. We have both straps released. I'm going to try to wiggle it out. I think that's how it comes out. It makes sense that it would come out that way. Or maybe not. Now, like I said, I know the strap's going to be hanging on right here. The little B wire. And I know that the fuel line has still got to be unhooked over there on the other side. But before I went through all that trouble, I wanted to make sure that this was even going to come out. We got lucky, guys. It did come out, and I think there's going to be enough body left for it to go back in without a big problem. So hoping this tank's going to be good, but I did see that bad spot, so we'll know when we get it out, I guess. Hoping by letting that down a little bit, I'll have some room on the other side over there to get a better look at the fuel line situation. All right, guys, I know this is probably going to make a lot of you guys mad, but this video is probably well over an hour long right now. We're getting progress here, but I have to say I think we're going to have to be continued till next week. We have Easter coming up in a couple of days here, so I'd like to get this video out to you guys. And if you do celebrate Easter, as I do, happy Easter to you and to your family. I think we're going to cut it right here, guys, and we'll start it back for next week. I think we're going to be driving this car before you know it. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, and tuning in every week, supporting the channel. If you get a chance, swing by and check out the Amazon page, the Amazon list, which will be down in the comments. And if you can pitch in there, great. If you can't, that's great too. But you can also see what we need and what I have on the list. And if you see something that needs to be added to the list, send me a message in the comments there and we'll add it to the list. But I think that's going to be it for this one. I appreciate you. And I will see you next time.